the vibe that happens when two people meet. That's why. And I was like, Jay Shetty explained the spark so perfectly this morning in his video. And I was like, oh my God, it all connected. Scientifically, like this has actually been researched that when you feel the spark, it's a mix of excitement and stress. So you have the excitement of, you see somebody when you're walking down the street or at Erewhon. Why not? Give the shameless plug. And you're like, that person's really attractive. And then you have like, that's the excitement. And then the stress comes in. Oh, but wait, do they like me? And that is why the spark is such a dangerous thing, because it's built with excitement and stress at the same time. But then as you start to progress, and it's like, well, how that manifests? Well, depending on your attachment style, you'll then see how you act on that spark.
Right.
Are you going to let that, oftentimes it's like you get the spark, you're like, yeah, because that person's a fucking narcissist and that was really reminiscent. They were very charming and it reminded you of somebody in your past, and that's why you're enamored by them. But a lot of people that I always hear is the like, I didn't feel the spark, or the spark, I lost the spark. And it's like, no, what happened is your central nervous system was really fucking relaxed, which is what it should be when you meet somebody. You shouldn't feel high or low. You should be very calm, because healthy doesn't equal boring. Healthy is like a calm central nervous system.
Yep.
So when the spark fades, it's like, no, you got to know that person and you're no longer waiting on breath that's bated to see if they're going to text you or to see if they want to see you again. You know that they do. You're in a relationship now. The spark wasn't gone. You just now actually have comfort with somebody, which is what it's supposed to be.
Exactly. And I don't know how much you do listen to him or don't listen to him, but he said something the other day about chemistry, right? And he said, people always ask me, I lost chemistry with my partner, I shouldn't be with him anymore. And he was like, chemistry is going to go away.
Yeah.
Like that chemistry you feel is going to go away fairly quickly. And then you turn that chemistry into a connection and communication, right? And they're two totally different things. But if you think that you're going to have chemistry with everyone every day and every minute, it's impossible. It's just not real.
Are you kidding? Imagine if every time you're with somebody, it felt like that first date with the butterflies and it's like, well, then, but friendships aren't like, nothing in life is like that. And if there's a difference, it's like, that's another thing you see on the Insta, TikTok world of like, if it's not easy, don't do it. And it's like, owning a business isn't easy, but I still do it. Being in a relationship by no means is fucking easy. It's a lot of work, but I still do it. It should flow. But like if you're having where if somebody or like, oh, is he this or is he this? It's like at the end of the day, if your needs aren't being met, who gives a shit about somebody else? Stop focusing on, is that guy avoided or is he just not into me? Or maybe he has a girlfriend. It's like, well, but are your needs being met? They're not. Cool. So it's all a moot point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy can be from fucking Mars. It doesn't matter. The guy's not. If you're not having your needs met, I don't care what's wrong with him. Stop focusing on everybody else. And that's trying to to deflect. Oh, I don't have to do any of the work on myself if I just focus on everybody else, because that's the problem.
Yeah, and we always talk about this, how like the movies portray the perfect version of love, right?
Disney.
And Disney, everything. And, when I got into a relationship, I grew so fast, so quickly because I thought, if I fight with you, you're not my person, right? Like, we shouldn't fight. Like, it should be easy and free-flowing. We should be happy every second. And then I realized, like, no, I really love this person, and I have to be more open to communicating better. And women and men speak different languages. I need to be a little more attentive and ask the right questions. And I can't just say, oh, you're fighting with me for no reason. You're not my person. Goodbye. Fuck you.
Right.
I'm going to go find somebody else.
The perception of options of like, oh, I'll just get someone else. And it's like, it's like, or the Disney movie where I'm like, there's no fucking knight that's going to come up a castle and save you. Unfortunately, I thought that for years. And I remember my sister's husband always saying, he's like, you want someone to save you so bad from the shit that you dealt with as kids that you don't want to do the work yourself. And that was that awareness that I needed to have of like, holy shit, no one else can do this besides me. Because if you can't sit in solitude, not sit alone on your phone or sit alone at home watching TV, if you can't sit just by yourself, which is really hard to do, how do you expect that you can sit with other people and feel fulfilled?
Yeah. And that's another thing that he explains. He explains everything, but he explains loneliness versus solitude, right? Like, just because you're not in a relationship, you might not be lonely. You just are enjoying solitude, and that's great. But,
You're like
solitude's great. It's beautiful.
It's great.
Loneliness is not, but if you're single and you're like, I actually am loving every second of being alone and being with myself, you're in solitude. That's amazing. And I think people don't understand solitude and loneliness. It's just a big mishmash.
It's a common misconception.
Yeah.
And there's also like the stigma, the social stigmas. And it's like, I think us as a generation, there's something that we also need to remember. This is all new. Our parents didn't have online dating. They didn't have texting. They didn't have any of this shit. They didn't have the accessibility to all of this. We're now texting? I thought about it. I was like, well, it's maybe 15 years old. 15, 16 years ago, like when I was in high school, I'm aging myself right now. But when I was in high school, that's when it started to happen, where you got your little Nokia fucking brick phone and you could text LOL, which my mom thought meant lots of love.
I think you only got like 10 texts per month or something.
Right. You had like a certain amount. So you had to still call people, and you had AIM. We started this entire generation of technology and dating and all of that. So there's no wonder that none of us have any idea what the fuck the rules are. But our parents started the generation of, I'm not going to stay in something that doesn't fulfill me or make me happy. So that's why divorces, that rate started so heavily. And then now we're seeing it as like dudes in their 40s and 50s that are like, yeah, just haven't found the right one. And it's like, yeah, because you don't want to look at yourself.
I think that's so spot on.